Hey guys, Isabel here. Welcome back to Reeled In. So last Wednesday, the final episode to season 1 of What If came out. If you haven't checked out my reaction video, feel free to go check it out. But in this video, I will be attempting to break down the episode and sort of just giving my thoughts on it. This episode was definitely epic and mind-blowing, and has me super excited for season 2 as well as the future of the MCU. So at the beginning of this episode, like the zombie episode, the What If logo is not followed by its typical musical theme, but actually briefly has notes of the Avengers theme, setting up a sort of multiverse Avenger kind of deal for this episode. But this episode opens up basically with Captain Carter taking Captain America's place in the opening of the Winter Soldier movie. Batroc makes an appearance again, just like he did in the live-action Captain America movie, as well as the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show. Here, Natasha Romanoff's hair is cut short, just like in the live-action movie. This timeline obviously takes place after the end of episode 1, where Fury and Hawkeye actually pull Captain Carter out of Project Pegasus. I like her quote here.
I've got the shield, you've got the sword.
Because she came out of the portal holding a shield and a sword, although the sword is not shown here, so I wonder why she got rid of it. It would be kind of cool if she kept it and it was just part of her persona, part of her image. But in this episode, Peggy Carter is wearing a blue and white version of the stealth suit like Captain America did, also in the Winter Soldier movie. But the Watcher breaks up Peggy Carter and Batroc's fight, and then we get a broken, sharded transition into basically the end of episode 2. The Dairy Queen where Peter Quill works and where Ego finally found his son. T'Challa and the Ravengers swoop in to save the day. Ego is basically fulfilling his plan like he tried to do in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 movie by using Peter Quill as his 1,000-year battery. Then we are shown the star that I can never pronounce. We have seen it in the Infinity War movie, Tony Stark in what looks like a version of the Hulkbuster suit, as well as Gamora, who has Thanos' double-edged sword and the armor she wore in the Endgame movie. And they are melting an Infinity Gauntlet. Now, this scene here is actually from a timeline not shown in season 1. I believe this episode will actually take place in season 2. They say the reason why this episode got pushed back to season 2 was because of COVID, but this is animation, so it's not live action. You don't have to bring people in. So I feel like there might be another reason, not just COVID related. Also, season 1 was supposed to have 10 episodes, but it got cut down to 9. So perhaps this episode here was supposed to be the 10th episode that it just didn't cut it. But this makes me excited to see the storyline because it looks like they may have actually succeeded in defeating Thanos in Infinity War, and perhaps the events of Endgame never happened. Also, if I hear Tony Stark say he wants to put a suit of armor around anything else one more time, I'm gonna lose it. That's literally how all his problems start. And then we get to the end of the other episode where Killmonger actually saved Tony Stark's life and then ended up taking over Wakanda. But here Shuri and Pepper are storming into Wakanda, probably to try and defeat Killmonger, as was the start of their plan at the end of last episode. Then last but not least, we get Party Prince Thor trying to defend Las Vegas. We see the aftermath of when Ultron actually interrupted Thor and Jane's future date. Thor is fighting off all the Ultron sentries and is simply too distracted to notice the Watcher. But the Watcher picks him up and he whisks him and everyone else away to the bar that Peggy and Steve actually shared a drink together in episode 1. This pub, though, seems to be a sort of dimension within a dimension, definitely at the very least a hidden dimension of some sort that Doctor Strange was able to create, which makes me very excited for Multiverse of Madness, because I have a feeling we might be seeing a bit more of these. And the Watcher calls them the Guardians of the Multiverse. This makes me wonder if you may see any of these characters in Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange 2 movie. I mean, if they're the Guardians of the Multiverse, you'd think they want to help fix it in the future. Which also makes me wonder if this Doctor Strange we see in What If also may be in either No Way Home or Doctor Strange 2 movie itself. Strange says this:
"We believe the only way to stop Ultron is to separate his body from the stone."
Which was actually the plan for Vision in Infinity War, where Shuri was going to use Wakandan technology to actually separate the Mind Stone from Vision's body. And it was working pretty well until they became under attack. Also, Gamora has an Infinity Crusher. I thought the Infinity Stones couldn't be completely destroyed, but I believe they can exist in sort of like an atomized state. So perhaps the Infinity Crusher just kind of grounds them up to like powder, and then they just survive as like dust. I don't know. Still got a lot of questions on that. Strange and Peggy Carter are talking about Steve receiving the serum in the alternate universe, and Peggy says this.
No, Captain America. In my universe, Steve Rogers received the serum.
Now that would be a sight to see.
Referencing the live-action movie where Captain America, the First Avenger, where Peggy was quite taken with Steve's physical body when he came out of the machine. But Ultron finds them, and in their fight, T'Challa uses his sticky fingers, like we see him use in Episode 2, to actually steal the Soul Stone from Ultron's armor.
You stole my Soul Stone?
And Doctor Strange releases the zombies from the zombie episode. Kind of sad we didn't get to see Headless Scott Lang or Spidey, but I guess they're still dealing with zombie Thanos. But Strange also brings in zombie Wanda, who we know is super powerful and can actually destroy Infinity Stones, as she got her power from an Infinity Stone and was able to destroy the one in Vision's head. But she actually softens here when she sees Vision in Ultron's armor because she still has her love for him, but then Ultron destroys the planet, so she's gone. But then the Guardians of the Multiverse are transported to the timeline where Natasha and Clint are basically the only humans left, and then Clint sacrificed himself a couple episodes ago, so now it's just Natasha. They meet up with Natasha and she briefly steals the Soul Stone. In an effort to gain her trust, Captain Carter says this.
Your father is Ivan, your Dar's Alexei.
Which means we actually get a reference to the Black Widow movie, since Alexei was the Red Guardian, who was her sort of pretend father for a little bit. Also a nice nod because Natasha still has the Red Guardian shield. Doctor Strange eats the explosion that Ultron was trying to cause, and honestly, Ultron's reaction was also mine.
Wait, what?
Doctor Strange releases his inner Leviathan, and as it passes Captain Carter, you can see she actually recognizes it, as in the first episode, she actually fights something with similar anatomy. Which got me thinking, what if when she was fighting the Leviathan, she wasn't actually fighting the monster itself, but this version of Doctor Strange? They are from two separate universes, and we know that the Red Skull did pull this creature from another universe or time. So what if instead of summoning the creature Red Skull wanted, he actually got evil Doctor Strange? And the reason why Peggy Carter wouldn't recognize Doctor Strange as this Doctor Strange was because he does and is able to transform into all these weird monster things. So if he stayed in that form, he would not show his human self or what he looks like. Just a thought for you guys. But they attempt to use the Infinity Crusher and it ends up not working, and Ultron says this.
Every universe is different. Thus, the Infinity Stones are unique.
Of course. The Crusher was designed to destroy the stones on my world, not his.
So that means that the stones can only be destroyed in their own universe, but I thought they could also only be used in their own universe, as the TVA had multiple Infinity Stones, but they were essentially worthless unless taken to the timeline where they are from. So technically all these Infinity Stones shouldn't really be able to work at all at this moment. So like, Marvel, what is up with this continuity error? Natasha and Peggy get thrown away from Ultron in the battle, and they conveniently come upon Natasha's motorcycle, as well as the arrow holding Zola's AI. But if they came to this timeline at the point I believe they came into this timeline is when Zola was like already downloaded into an Ultron sentry, like the one with no legs. So like, did Natasha just re-download him onto the arrow? Like, I'm still kind of confused on this whole part right here. But with distraction and the element of surprise, Natasha pulls a Clint and actually shoots the arrow into Ultron's eye, letting the Zola virus download into him. Notice though how when Ultron loses his eye, his surrounding visual becomes sort of faded and a bit diminished, kind of like what one would actually view if they lost sight in one of their eyes. And Killmonger does what Killmonger does best and basically betrays the rest of the group. He uses the Ultron Sentry head that he has been obsessed with since he first saw it to basically create a new vibranium suit and collect the Infinity Stones. But Zola is not done yet. He wants the Infinity Stones for himself, creating a power struggle between him and Killmonger. Doctor Strange realizes that this was the plan all along, and with his awesome powers, he actually is able to create a pocket dimension and traps this never-ending struggle. And if this Strange can create pocket dimensions, I really hope we get to see it in the live action. Because I feel like we haven't actually realized just how powerful Doctor Strange actually is. And in this series, I feel like we've actually got a wide spectrum of what his powers can do. But after all this, Doctor Strange is talking to the Watcher, and he says this.
You foresaw every moment from the failed Infinity Crusher to Killmonger's betrayal.
Which I feel like it was confirmed last episode that the Watcher actually does not see all and everything that happens in the future. So the fact that he was able to see the whole outcome for this one episode is like, I don't know, like you already put a doubt in there, so let's make me doubt the accuracy of his claim. Unless him not being able to see Ultron's takeover of the multiverse was part of his plan, and the Watcher's ultimate plan is actually the intent to break his oath of never interfering. I'm definitely glad we're getting a season 2 because I feel like that whole thing still kind of has to be explained. But we leave off this part of the episode as Doctor Strange being the guardian over this pocket dimension, which leads up to what the big bad of season 2 may be. I feel like there may be multiple big bads, or perhaps we could see this again in another future MCU film or TV show. Because if the pocket dimension cracks or breaks, pretty much all over. But if the Guardians of the Multiverse get sent back to their timelines, although Peggy wants to go back to the 1940s to have her dance with Steve, and the Watcher says this to her.
Trust me, that world, that time, needs Captain Carter.
And this correlates to the mid-credits scene where Natasha and Peggy actually discover the Hydra Stomper with someone inside. I'm like 99% sure that this someone is going to be Steve, who is going to take up a role similar to Bucky when he was captured and brainwashed to become the Winter Soldier. Which then also means that I think Captain Carter will be a focal point for season 2, and this Winter Soldier-esque Steve will also be the big bad of season 2. Which will be awkward and probably heartbreaking for Peggy because they were like sort of lovers in episode 1. And now they're supposed to be enemies. And the Watcher delivers Natasha to the timeline where all the Avengers died. At the end of that episode, Fury went to defrost Captain America from the ice and called upon Captain Marvel. So it's nice that Natasha gets to live out her last Avenger days in the new team, which is mostly just the new person's Captain Marvel because she's already worked with Captain America. Towards the end of the episode, we see T'Challa teaching Peter Quill how to shoot one of his guns. Perhaps Peter Quill will become a Ravager in season 2. And I really like this quote from the Watcher.
You are more than that to me.
Are we?
You, your stories, they are everything to me.
I feel like it really captures how the audience's experiences are with the MCU movies, as well as just like any other franchise or story that you may enjoy. Because it's like that saying, us as humans, like we're made to tell stories, and those stories have meaning to us. But this episode I also give a 10 out of 10 to, even with all the weirdness with the Infinity Stones going on. This season has made me super excited for the upcoming future Marvel movies, as well as season 2 of What If. One thing I like a lot about the MCU is that they do kind of have this one big storyline, and that most movies connect with all the other ones. And it has been really fun for me to react to this series and also attempt to break down these episodes. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching it. I have enjoyed doing it. If you want to support the channel, make sure you like this video, comment what you thought of the episode, and what are you mostly looking forward to in season 2. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you know when I upload future reaction, as well as breakdown and review videos. Well guys, that's all I've got for you today, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.